Let me explain you how you are completely wrong if you think that it's harder to make friends when you live abroad. Okay, a lot of people think, well, all my friends are back home. I don't know anybody here. People already have their friends. They're not going to want to be friends with me. That's nonsense. Okay, it is way easier to make friends when you're an expat. So if you're considering living abroad as an expat or a digital nomad, or you're already living abroad and you're not making friends, let me explain how you're in the perfect position to create the perfect social life. First thing is that you can completely reinvent yourself. You can completely change your social circle, get completely new friends, new types of friends. And you're just starting over if you want. This is a new life. There are no rules. So it's very exciting. The other reason is you will find other people like you who are in the same situation. It's very likely that if you're an expat, there's other expats out there who also want to make friends. Now, of course, you might want to make friends. You might want to make friends with local people as well. But if you're open to making friends with fellow expats, it's going to be very easy depending on where you live. There's probably events for expats, groups, check on Meetup, check on Facebook. There's going to be something. Or you can just spot them when you're walking on the street, whatever. You can chat with people in public and you'll meet other expats. Maybe not if you live in Kabul. Although if you live in Kabul and you see another white guy, well, he's probably an expat or a tourist. But of course, it depends on where you go. But generally speaking, this is true. All right. So, my third point is related to the first one. It's exciting. It's way more exciting because you're everything is new, and you want to make friends, and you're gonna be more. You're just gonna think about it more. You're gonna make connections more easily. You'll think, oh, I can make friends like this, or maybe I could be friends with that guy. You're just gonna think about it more, and because everything is new and you've moved somewhere new, it's just more exciting. So it's more fun, and you're gonna find more ways to make friends compared to when you were living back home. Point number 4 is you have to make friends. Okay, unless you want to be lonely and alone and bored, but you don't know anybody there, so you're forced to get out there and make friends. As opposed to when you were back home, maybe your social life was kind of meh, maybe it was mediocre, but it was not bad enough that you had to push yourself to meet new people, right? So in this case, it's kind of like hitting rock bottom, where the only way is up. You just have to meet people, so you'll be more likely to do it, and again, you'll be more attuned to opportunities. Now, my final point is that by being an expat, you got the perfect reason to approach strangers. A lot of people, they worry that it's weird to approach strangers without a proper reason, to just go hey, what's your name? Where are you from? And they're like, what? Why are you talking to me? You'd be surprised that a lot of people are actually very much open to talking to strangers without a proper reason. But at first, if you're not used to talking to strangers, to approaching strangers in public specifically, it will be easier if you have a reason. Now, your reason can simply be, hello, you seem like a local. I've just moved here. Do you have anything to recommend? Or do you have any tips on this or that? Do you have any tips on how to make friends here? It's a very simple opener that will most likely help you. And then you can feel what the vibe is like, and maybe you'll become friends with that person, and maybe they will introduce you to more people. Or maybe it's just going to be a quick interaction and nothing is going to come out of it. But at least you'll talk to someone and you'll practice talking to strangers, and you can keep doing that over and over again. Now, these tips are generally true. I think they are true no matter where you are, but I want to acknowledge that in some places it is going to be harder than in others, right? So for example, I know that a place like Sweden is notoriously hard to make friends in, at least if you're an expat and you want to meet locals. I think I've heard that Switzerland is really hard as well. But again, it's not impossible. In places where it's hard or even really hard, What it really means is that it's going to take you more effort and more time and more attempts. Let's say, in a place where it's easier to meet people, you might have to approach 10 people. Maybe in Switzerland, let's say, you'll have to approach 100 people. But that's it, so it's not an excuse. It doesn't matter where you live, even if you live in a small town. I would argue living in a small town, that's the hardest level you can be at. But it's still possible, okay? Now, if you need help in getting there faster and getting really good at being social and making friends and approaching strangers, there's a link you can click in the description. We can work together either one-on-one, or I'm going to start doing group coaching as well with a bunch of people. And that's going to be really fun. And there's also my newsletter, so check it out. If you sign up, you will get a free friendship guide. For now, it's just like a Google Doc with just a bunch of condensed tips on how to make friends. All right, now go out there, make some friends, and let me know how it goes. If you have any ideas for future videos, or if you want to tell me what you thought of this one, comment below.